Hey guys, today is German Rigatoni Day. You never heard of German Rigatoni? Well, check these out. Here I have 8 German rigs. 6 of them are going to be World War II Lugers, and then I have a couple P38s. So let's check these out. Okay, these 8 rigs all came to us on consignment. It's hard to find good rigs like this anymore, but longtime collectors that were either selling out or thinning the herd gave us these 8 rigs to sell for them on consignment. We have others, like the last video, I had a World War I 2-match mag Luger. These are all World War II. We'll start here and work our way through the group. You can see it's a minty or mint holster. There's the maker. That's the initials for the maker, 1941, the Waffen stamp, which means it went to the military. Usually by 1941-42, they're all black. This probably passed for black, but it's actually a deep brown. Then you can see inside, this is a tan color. We have our loading tool, which I will take a look at that. And we also have a spare magazine, so we'll pull that out. Okay, right off the bat, other than the holster that we just looked at, we can see that this is a Black Widow. Byf Mauser 42, so that's 1942. Now remember, the holster was 41. Not a big deal. I usually say as long as it's within 1 year. You won't really find 43 and 44 holsters. They did make them, but they're very, very rare. So a 41 holster with a 42 Luger, that's not necessarily wrong, because obviously they made a lot more holsters, and at the end of the year they didn't throw them all away. They continued to use them. You can see the Black Widow grips, Black Widow magazines. There's 2 of them. So the one in the gun and the spare. And the proof marks right here are going to be Eagle 135. Now that's unique to 1942. And I already pulled out the tool, set that down. I mentioned the proof mark should be 135, but on the tool, this one is blank. And so we'd have to take that into consideration when pricing them, because the 135 tool is actually one of the rarest ones, and they sell by themselves for $400 to $500, if you can imagine that. A 135 tool, and yeah, some people do fake the stamp, but this one is not marked at all. So that goes right here in the tool pouch. And then the gun itself has all matching, all the parts are matching, all original. Absolutely beautiful gun. Now, I've done previous videos about how you can tell if the Black Widow grips are real, and it does have a little bit of shine to them, where the other ones might be a little duller. This is all original finish, and these are going up in value. They call them Black Widows mostly as a sales gimmick because it sounds really exotic, but all it is toward the end of production, 41 and 42, they were running out of wood, and so they used the plastic, and also the plastic was a little more durable. So there's a nice Black Widow rig. We'll set that aside and take a look at the next one. Similar, because again, we have a 1941 Waffen stamp for the military. P38 is right here. And again, a mint to minty holster. This one is black. And we see not the mag pouch, the tool pouch. We pull this out. I believe this one is going to be 655, and it is, which corresponds to 1941, and the holster we already determined was 41. This is also dated 41, 42, which is a rare code, but even rarer is rare. This is KU marked. Now, KU mark, the meaning of KU is disputed. I have a section in my book about it. Mostly I just looked at what other researchers have said about the KU, but we're not sure what factory they came out of. They are Mauser parts that were left over after production was over. So after 42, production is over. They have a lot of spare parts. And it seems that these went to the Luftwaffe because they are Luftwaffe proof. Now this is going to be hard to see, but that's a late Luftwaffe proof. It's an Eagle. There's actually an A in the middle, and then also right here. So that's a Luftwaffe proof here, Luftwaffe proof here, and then all the numbers. The font is a little bit bigger. If you notice, the font on this gun is a little bit bigger than the font here. And all that is pretty common for the KU, but it's also part of the mystery because the larger font, they're assuming that they were stamped differently because they were made in an unknown arsenal. Again, leftover Mauser parts, maybe put together by Krieghoff. Krieghoff denies that. Maybe put together at another arsenal, but the font is a little bit bigger. Now also, early on with the KUs, they would number the magazine. So they used the plastic bottom. This is not numbered. Plastic bottom. This, however, unique to the KU, again, a bigger font than you would normally see. KU, they would number that font. But when they did, it would often crack the plastic. So they only did that for a short period of time. You can see this plastic is cracked. This side is fine. But this would be a KU magazine that would sell at a premium. People like the KU because there's mystery surrounding it, and it's believed that all of these went to the Luftwaffe. So this is a rare KU. Let's look at the back strap, the front strap. Also, with the KUs, almost always wooden grips. And if you open this up, it'll be all 4 digits, and this has the correct serial number, all 4 digits on the inside of the grip, both sides. So this is a rare variation. Want to make sure you get a good look at it. You'll notice the font is a little bit bigger, and that's pretty much to be expected. I mean, that's the way the KU looks. Because these are so desirable to collectors, this is a pretty big investment. Okay, here's the next Rigatoni, and this holster is even minter than the other mint holsters. Absolutely gorgeous. Again, 41. I think it seems like we had 3 in a row that were 41. Waffen stamp P08, a little clearer. And there's the tool. We'll take a look at that. Pouch, you can see it's barely used from the inside. Nice and clean. Here's the gun and the spare magazine. So let's see, let's look at that holster one more time. Just gorgeous, minty. This one is a Byf 41. Again, we've had Byf 41, 42, another Byf 41. But this time, instead of being a Black Widow, this has the brown wooden grip. We lovingly call it the brown recluse. That's really caught on. People see me at the gun show and say, I'm looking for a brown recluse. We just made that up, but it fits. These grips are numbered to the gun. On one of them, the 8 is a little smudged, but the 1 is very clear. So both grips are numbered to the gun, and the magazine is numbered to the gun. So you can see 4681. That looks like a Q. And 4681Q. So one matching magazine, beautiful condition. All of these, by the way, have excellent bores, as you would expect in a gun in this condition. It is 655 is the proof mark, Eagle 655, and therefore I would expect the tool to be Eagle 655, and so it is. Now the second magazine, which comes in the pouch, is blank bottom. I can't tell if it's been ground off or if it was always blank. The blank ones are often thought of as being armorer's replacement. One way to confirm that is they would have a 42 code. This is just totally blank, which we do see from time to time. And they are very desirable because technically you can say it's all matching. The fact that this is unnumbered, at least it's not mismatched, and it is a replacement, but it's not mismatched. It's just a period correct replacement magazine. So we'll put this all back together, the gun, the spare magazine, and the tool, and let's move on to the next rig. Another Luger. I think I said I had 6 Lugers to start. And this one is, again, one of the dark brown. Remember the earlier one, I called it a dark brown. It's pretty much the same color. Let's see if it's the same makers. I don't even know. No, this maker is DTA, and this one actually spells out the maker here, which is a bunch of long German words, 1940. So I suspect this is going to be a 1940 rig. Let's pull this out. And there we have it. 42 code, Mauser 42 code. 1940. Finish is pretty much the same as all the others. It's just absolutely gorgeous. 655. Eagle 655. You can see this side of the gun. Look at that front strap, absolutely beautiful. And it's 8184, 8184. So there's one match mag and then a blank magazine. So once again, we have a Luger, all matching numbers. The grips, I believe, are unnumbered, which certainly can be correct. Most of them in 1940 were not, but it is Eagle 655 marked. And the magazine is numbered to the gun. The spare, once again, is blank, but this time it's definitely an armorer's replacement because you can see the 42, that's a 42 code with the 655. So this is the spare magazine, and I mentioned the tool is in here. It should be 655, and indeed, right there, again, very faintly struck. I think one thing you're learning is bring a magnifying glass to the shows. I know I have to. Okay, this is our last Luger. I said 6, but it's actually only 5 because this over here is 3 P38s. I should have said that in the intro, but all the guns I handle, I got confused. This is unique. You'll notice that the way the holster goes, strap goes up versus the strap goes down on an angle. That is the military holster, and usually commercial holsters look like this. This is a distinct police holster. Don't ask me why they had their own design, but they did. So a police holster, there's actually a stud here. I know I'm a stud, but this is an aluminum stud. And this one, if you think these other rigs were delicious looking, this is even more delicious. Remember I talk about the stubby wing? I think of T-Rex, they got the stubby arms. This is a distinct police eagle marking. Again, I don't know why they had their own stubby wing eagle, but the military eagles look more like you would expect in the Nazi party. That's the typical eagle with the swastika underneath. This is the police style, and this is 1941, Otto Sindel in Berlin. Look at the stitching. These other guns were all mint. This is better than mint. So we, in the industry, we technically call this mint, mint, mint. I do get people ask me, do you have any mint, mint, mint guns? Okay, so let's move on. Open it up, look inside. Totally brand new. Even squeaks like a new pair of shoes. We have a tool. We'll take a look at that after we get this out. We've got the spare magazine, and we've got the gun itself. I wonder if the gun is as nice as the holster. Holy smokes, it is. This is 41. Hey, we had a lot of 41 guns, didn't we? And we got more coming. 41, but with the police, they used the actual Mauser banner. They didn't have to use a code. They started using the code to hide their military production. They were always allowed to make guns for the police. So commercial guns and police guns will have the Mauser banner. 1941. This has the sear safety, which is an additional safety. Besides this safety, the police asked for an additional safety on the sear to prevent accidental discharge. It is a long story, but the short of it is they had an extra safety. You can see it's a 3-digit code, with, not a code, serial number, 434, all matching, drum roll. It's got 2 matching magazines. So you see magazine number 1, magazine number 2, 2 matching magazines with a Y underneath. And if we look here, we see the serial number and the Y underneath right there. So absolutely perfect. This is about a 98, 99% gun, as good as they get, with 2 matching magazines. Now let's take a look at the tool. The tool would not be Waffen-proof because it didn't go to the military. So how is the tool marked? And lo and behold, it has the police eagle L. And that, so the inspector, the L was the first initial of the last name of the inspector. So we know they had Eagle L, they had Eagle C, Eagle F, and Eagle K. Those were all the different inspectors that came into the Mauser factory and procured guns for the police. And then in addition, my faint eyes, my retiring eyes can hardly see it, but there is a very faint Eagle L here. Now that is underneath the finish, so that means the inspector came in before the final finish. He put his stamp on it, and then the gun was blued. Just check out this baby. These grips are like brand new. Absolutely beautiful. 2 matching magazines, police tool with a mint holster. You know this is good enough to be in my collection, but as it turns out, I can't keep them all. Remaining is 2 P38 rigs. They have a slightly different holster. Looks a little bit like the police holster of the Luger, but you can see the flap is a little bit different. Also, this piece, this black oval here is different, so I can recognize a P38 holster pretty quickly. So you see P38 right there, as opposed to P08 right there. So the main goal here is to be very nonchalant, like, oh, I knew it all along. Okay, this one is 1941. Remember we talked about when we got a lot of 1941 guns. There's 1941, maker mark is there. It has to have a Waffen stamp on it, but sometimes it's underneath here and I don't see it, but it would have a Waffen stamp in 1941. So let's open this one up. Again, this is being sold on consignment. Now, they don't have the tool. Of course, they would not have a Luger tool, but they do have the spare mag pouch. In this case, let's pull it out because, again, cut to the chase. This one comes with 2 matching magazines. You can see 5104D, and in 1941, that's how the magazines were numbered, right here on what I'll call the toe of the magazine. In 1942, only the A to C suffix, they actually are numbered along here, here and here, so they'd be numbered here. But in 41, also in 40, they were numbered here. So 2 matching magazines. The grips are numbered to the gun. Later on, they didn't bother doing that anymore. But the grips would be numbered to the gun. And this one just has, it's got wear as in it was used in the war. By the way, remember that police Luger, and I said how nice it was? Police Lugers, and we're going to see a police P38 in a little bit, they're usually in better condition because they slept indoors. They walked a beat, and they weren't running in the mud and in fields, in the snow, the rain. They usually are in better condition. This one saw some action. It was at least in a holster for a while. All matching numbers, which would be here, here, on the barrel, and then numbered on the locking block. There's 3 proofs here, 1, 2, 3. Somewhat faint. You can see the grip strap is pretty good. And with 2 matching magazine, this is getting to be a very rare find. It's a very good, I would not say, certainly would not say mint or excellent, but I'd say a very good holster with a very nice 2 match mag. And this is, I don't know if I said it, I should have said it first. It's AC, which is the code for Walther, AC 41. So Walther factory in 1941. Now I have another one from 1941, and that's this one. So here you can see the maker, but again, it's almost underneath the strap. There is a partial Waffen proof here, N41, P38. This holster is a lot nicer. You can see that comparing the 2 holsters. This one is more like an excellent to mint holster. I'll call it excellent, be conservative. Open it up, nice and clean inside. And this is also an AC41. AC41. But this one is in the J-block, so it's near the end of production in 41. This one is in the D-block, so earlier part of the alphabet. And if you look at the condition of the 2 guns, this one in the J-block is much nicer condition, but it only has 1 matching magazine. I'll show that to you in a minute. This is, the front strap is thinned. This one, it has a little bit of, actually quite a bit of patina on it. So this one's thinned out. This has a little patina. You can see a little bit of corrosion on there. Actually, the trigger guard has some corrosion. And if you look at the other side, it has wear here. This one is in a little bit better condition. So the later one in the J-block is in a little bit better condition. And the magazine is numbered right here in the J-block, 1536J and 1536J. Now it does have a spare magazine, and it is also in the J-block, 1586. So it's actually just the 8 and the 3 are different. It could have even been a factory error if you think about it. Somebody grabbed the 3 and then thought they grabbed the 3, but they got the 8. So it's close to being matched, but it's one matching magazine and one that is close. And so that all goes in this minty holster. In the J-block, toward the end of 41, they would waffen stamp the grips, but they didn't number the grips. So the grips are not numbered, but they are waffen stamped. Everything else on this gun is matching. And again, it's AC Walther 41. Okay, for the final rigatoni, let's take a look at this. Now, right off the bat, this is going to be later war. Here's my P38 holster, usually up to 42. They don't make, this is called the hard shell. And I guess it's just because this is more of a hard shell or cap covering. Hard shell, they obviously sell for more, but then in order to cut funds, after 42, they almost always will be in this soft shell. And these came in from Eastern Europe after the fall of the Iron Curtain by the hundreds and thousands, and I can remember seeing them piled up at auctions and selling for $100 to $150 a piece. Now we're talking more like $275 to $350. This is a police holster, soft shell holster, in minty condition. And you can see here, this is the police eagle. Now it's not as stubby as this eagle. Remember that eagle? Has the stubby wing. This is a little bit better. This is a police inspector stamp, P38. And then there's a, it's like a patent code, I believe, or an inventory number. You'll see those on a lot of these soft shells. The one thing about the soft shells, they're pretty common. They are very, very tight. So when I don't have this in, it shuts really easily. You can see the stud right there. With that out, I can snap it down fairly easily. The leather is all very tight, but you can see it definitely reaches. When you add the spare magazine, and I do have a remedy for it, it doesn't quite reach. And I showed it in another video. That is very common with these soft shell holsters. They're made so tight that it's hard to get that spare magazine in it. But for those of you who love rigatoni, you know you can't, you just have to have that extra magazine. So what I do is I wet it down, I cover this in cellophane, I put it all together, it stretches the leather, and I leave it overnight, and it kind of molds. I did a video on it, and I'll show you again later, but don't do it on your own without looking at the video, because if you get it all wet and then leave this in there for a day or two, it's gonna rust your gun, so don't do that. But I am able to remold the holster so that it'll fit. So let's take a look at this gun, because this is stunning. I absolutely love this gun. I want to buy this gun. It has what I call tiger stripes. There's just, if I'm going to move it around a little bit, on certain angles you can see the stripes in it. Starts down here and goes around, starts here. This is the phosphate slide, and the frame would be phosphate, and then a blued, this is a stunning dual tone. So blued barrel, blued rear sight, and then phosphate with like this tiger stripe finish. I've had another one like this, but it was waffen proof. This one is Eagle F. This is about as nice as I've ever seen. Look at that. It's got a casting flaw here, but other than that, it's almost no wear at all. It would not have a waffen proof magazine, but it does. It's a late war magazine that has the ribbed follower. Now let's look at the spare. It has the rib follower. That's a late war magazine. This was probably made late 44. There's no waffen proof here, which is correct. This one does have a waffen stamp, but that was just probably a spare that somebody added, but it does match pretty well. And the police ones should not have the waffen proof, although it could, because they could just pick up. The waffen inspector came by and stamped them all, and he needed an extra one, so he just grabbed it. Now you'll notice that they actually used the waffen stamp here, and that's because the frames were approved for the military, and then later the police came along, put them together, and did the final proof. There's a waffen stamp for the first inspection. Second inspection is Eagle F, and that just means the last name of the German inspector started with an F. Absolutely love this rig, one of my favorites, and again, would love to own it. Okay, I'm gonna put these all back to bed, wipe them down really well. I'll give you one more quick look at them. Look at those holsters, P38 holster, Luger holster, beautiful. Another minty, just beautiful rigs, and very popular. and rising in price all the time, a beautiful Black Widow Luger from 1942. I'm a lucky man. I have all my little babies in my lap, and I'm going to be putting them to bed really soon. Make sure you like and subscribe to our channel. And if you know somebody who might like this information, please send it along because we're trying to increase our subscribers. Thanks for watching.